is dubbing the infected the Reclaimed.
Some say it's the planet's attempt to reclaim balance by killing us all off.
You shouldn't be out here alone.
You are?
Yeah, well, I'm not an idiot.
Hello everybody, welcome back to Screenstars. I'm here today to bring you my review for the 2024 horror thriller Die Alone. The film is written and directed by Lowell Dean and it stars Douglas Smith, Carrie-Anne Moss, Kimberly Sue Murray and Frank Grillo. Now the film is set in the near future. There has been an apocalyptic event take place. Essentially Mother Nature has fought back and thrust this disease upon the world that essentially takes over humans. It's almost like a plant-based disease that turns you into like bloodthirsty creatures. Very similar in a lot of ways to The Last of Us. So it's like an organic fungal plant-based disease. And we meet a character called Ethan, played by Douglas Smith. He is in a car crash with his girlfriend. He recovers from that car crash. He has got amnesia, but all he can remember is that he needs to find his girlfriend and in order to protect her in this very, very dangerous world. He comes across Carrie-Anne Moss's character, May, who is a lone, rugged survivor. She's learnt to survive this very, very difficult land. They kind of work together and she promises that she will help him find his girlfriend, Emma. And together they band together to kind of survive this very, very savage world. Right, what are my thoughts on Die Alone? Well, on the surface of it, this film would appear to be another bog-standard post-apocalyptic zombie-type film. Taking, its lead from, as I've said, programs like The Last of Us. So is there a level of originality here? Is it actually worth watching? Well, I have to say, I was really quite pleasantly surprised with this one. I wasn't expecting a great deal, I'm not going to lie. This has a lot going for it, this film. It's one of those that I think will surprise many. It's not what I expected. The story evolved in ways that I thought was really interesting and kept me interested. It's not just a bog standard zombie film. In actual fact, the Reclaimed, as they call them in this film, take a back seat for the most part to the performances and the character arcs. They take priority here, which is always a good sign. It's a sign of good writing and a good storyteller, and that's what I think this film is. It's got quite a good story that keeps you engaged throughout and constantly surprised, I have to say. There are twists here in this film that I personally didn't see coming. Not really. I'm not saying nobody will, but it starts off in a way that you kind of think, oh, we're going to get this film in flashback now. And I thought the start they gave us, I thought, oh no, I know what's going to happen now. Why have they done that? But it doesn't. It constantly surprises you, this film. And I really, really appreciated that about it. It's actually made very skillfully as well. I think there's some pretty cool cinematography going on here. Some of the locations are actually quite beautiful in this devastated land. I think some of the choices for locations were perfectly done. They've obviously found like some kind of abandoned town and filmed it there. And they've kind of added their own bits of graffiti to things like that, like "No God" on roofs and that kind of stuff. And it's smartly made in that sense, you know what I mean? Because it doesn't really expand beyond these kind of surrounding areas for the most part, where Carrie-Anne Moss's character is holding up in this house as a survivor. So it kind of remains around there and kind of deviates from that briefly here and there, but the main part of the story is there. But there's more to be told, and there's more to be told. There's more to be told because it plays quite cleverly with his amnesia. you kind of learn what's going on and what's gone on as he starts getting his memories, or he starts remembering certain things. Things are revealed to us then as well, so it keeps you kind of engaged throughout the film for the most part, which I thought was really good. And I really enjoyed the performances here. I thought Carrie-Anne Moss was excellent as May, and I thought Douglas Smith was excellent as Ethan. They kind of made a really good team here. They had great chemistry. It was like almost a mothering relationship because of his amnesia, and it kind of, the relationship evolves in ways that I didn't expect, if you like. And again, I don't want to say much more. The Frank Grillo character is not in it a great deal. Frank Grillo, his character turns up late in the film, but it's a very, very significant part when his character does turn up. So I'm the first to complain about Frank Grillo if he's in movies that I don't think he should be in, because I think he should be a leading man. I think he's got that ability to be a leading man in most, like, certainly action projects. And while this obviously isn't an action film, it's a bit of a change of pace for him. As I said, he's not in it a great deal, but his character in the film, is pivotal in many ways to the film. And I thought the effects as well were excellent here for these reclaimed. You've got an opportunity here to make, these practical effects look really cool and really stand out. And they do. You've got some characters with, like bits of plant growing out of them. And it does something really cool as well, that I've never really seen in like a zombie film, if you can call this a zombie film. What happens is when the reclaimed, as they call them in this film, when they feast, when they eat blood, if they've not gone too far down the road, if you like, completely rotted or turned into a plant or whatever you want to call it, they remember who they are or who they were before. There's a really interesting scene where as a character in the film gets munched on, and the reclaimed that does the munching, once it's finished the munching, it remembers who he was and realizes what he's done, and you can see the sheer horror on his face. I thought that was quite an interesting take. I've not really seen that done before in a film, so it managed to do something different and interesting, this one. So I do actually recommend this one. It's got great performances, it's well made, it's got a story that keeps you interested and guessing for the most part. And yeah, for a post-apocalyptic zombie film, this one actually manages to stand on its own 2 feet, which is no mean feat at all, in what you could call a saturated market these days. So yes, okay, there's bits of The Last of Us here and other bits and the pieces that you've seen in other films, but this one manages to kind of stand out a bit and does a pretty decent job, and is very, very watchable in my opinion. So yeah, let me know what your thoughts are in the comments, and I will of course be back with plenty more reviews and content on the channel very, very soon.